life. What the hell is that? There's two things that you can't rush in life. There are two things. No, just leave it there. Leave the door open. I just put them in front of the door so it doesn't shut. There are two things that you can't rush in life. One of them is a woman, and the other is a pint of Guinness. You okay there? Did you shut the door? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so there is two things that you should never rush in. Yeah, so apologies for being late. I was having a pint of Guinness while she was at the shops. Uh, anyway, let's jump into the comments before into the Celtic news this evening. Is O'Reilly going? Says Mark. Sean says, looks like we've finally tabled an Ide offers. It's on Norwich now. Is that? I should really set up a bit. It'll be a bit more professional. Somebody said I'm not professional enough on this channel. I said that's because it's a Celtic fan channel. It's not somebody that's pretending to be something else. John, Shirley, Baz, when you say fucking time, you're on fucking late. Ah, John. John. You just leave us some shite sometimes. Um, my rules apply. It's my channel. Evening says Sean. Martin Corrigan says evening. And Raymond says, I expect Dermot Desmond to step up and tell the rest of the board to give Brendan what he wants, as Dermot himself asked Brendan to come to Celtic for the second time. Raymond, you have a point, and we'll get talking about that in a couple of minutes. If the software would allow me to highlight that comment, I would. A fantastic, Raymond, that's a fantastic comment. Edward says, hi Baz. John Cullen says, hail troops. Baz is running 8, fell over. He heard Adam Ida was going to cost 8 million. Yeah. And to be honest, it was you should never rush a Guinness or your missus at the shops. And the fact that she was at the shops and I was drinking a Guinness, well, there's only going to be one winner. And it's the Guinness and the missus. It's not going to be you guys. I'm sorry, and I do mean that. I really mean that. Fucking shut up. You'd be the same. John Collins says, "Hail, hail, trips." Yeah. He said you went to the shops. Jesus God, 2 glasses of wine. Anyway, there's a new top kicking about. There's a new top kicking about. It's the Provo top. It's the Provo top. Did you like the Provo top? Lanky says good evening, troops. Lorna says good evening, troops. Studs is in Lancaster. Desmond Donnelly is in, evening, Baz and troops. Lanky, it seems that Matt ain't going to Brighton. He's wanting to play in the Champions League. Brighton are in the European League. I did say that. I did say that. Look, if he's going to go anywhere, he wants to play. He wants to stay in the Champions League. So that narrows down. Don't be surprised. We'll talk about transfers in a minute. Um, the Ant Hill mob says, Shaggers, here we are, Shaggers. All right, Shaggers. What's fucking happening tonight, man? All right, Shagger. All right, there's always that one mate you call Shagger, isn't he? And the thing is, he's not a Shagger. That's the thing. But you call him Shagger. All right, Shagger. What's happening, man? He's fucking. All right, Shagger. But he's no the shagger of the group, is he? He's no the shagger. He's no the man. He's no the one with the chat. He's no the one that's Mr. Lover. But yeah, we call him Shagger. All right, Shagger. If you want you fucking day in the night, nah. Anyway, Lorna Gallagher says that's all good. The Champions League is a big draw for players. 9 out of 10 seasons, we're not winning these games. But with that in mind, John Paul Murray then goes on to say the way that we contract business is laughable. You can't expect other teams not to want top dollar when Celtic themselves are telling the stock exchange they're loaded and trying to steal a bargain. Yeah. This is very true. 55 is incoming. We will up the 55. I'll give it till Christmas, and then we'll go DEFCON 9 with the whole 55 thing. Right, we'll give it till Christmas. We'll give due respect to the league, and we'll give it to Christmas, and then we'll go full on DEFCON 9 that 55 is incoming as the dog decides to chew my slipper. Chewing the baffies. Right, let's jump down to it. It's because he has the what? Carly? Who's got the biggest no? Sometimes you read a comment and you think, what have I missed? Rogers is a weak manager. The board give him dangling on a string. That's the reason Ange left. Ah, anyway. Let's jump into the Celtic news this evening. I'm getting the 55. I'm getting a 55 the Morabas. What's that? Tam the bus. Ah, you get the 55 bus. The 55 to paradise. No, because it's not even tomorrow at the game. Alexander says we should have backed when he won the league someone else's team. You should have backed him. Simple. If they sell Matt O'Reilly and don't replace him, I think old Brendan Rodgers will walk again. No, he won't. But we wouldn't blame him. As fans this time, I don't think the one cod shagger. He's not got a big dobber. He's not got a big dobber. It's generally a piss take because he's no a shagger. Jesus, Carly. What does 55 mean? Exactly. They died in 2012. Tam Matt's getting a 55-inch TV. His missus was hoping for so much more, but he's getting a 55-inch TV. Tom Curtin says we are spending $6 million on players 20 years ago. We didn't have to bankroll. We've got much bigger potential in the Champions League. And yeah, we could talk about that all day long. What's changed, says Tom? It's Thursday night. Nothing's changed. Anyway, let's jump into some Celtic news this evening. Celtic have went all out, fucking milking it. They are completely milking it. They are milking the whole. Paulo Bernardo's back. Imagine putting out a Paulo Bernardo video tonight. It's Thursday night. He signed last week. And Celtic are pumping out, welcome back, Paulo. I'm so glad to be back. This is why I came back, to win things. The away fans. I love everyone. Anyway, breaking news this evening is Dane Murray is on the brink of securing a loan move to Queen's Park. They're wanting a loan deal for the defender. I thought that Dane Murray would be one that maybe with the current defender situation at Celtic. I thought Dane Murray did have a good pre-season, but Brendan Rodgers wants him to get out there and have full-time football this season. Queen's Park manager Callum Davison has he sees Murray as a key addition. I thought that the 21-year-old would have. I did say when it came to the pre-season games, and you've got the likes of Dane Murray, who did okay. He was nice and stable at the back, you could say, and it would have been interesting to see him in and around the squad. But as part of his football education, as Brendan likes to show it, the football education is all about getting the player some first team football. So they are putting him out at Queen's Park to get him some first team football. It'll be interesting to see if he can come back and slip right into that first team. Because let's face it, Gustav Lagerbielke is around about the same age as him. He's 21-year-old. It's probably a good thing to get him out playing first team football this season. But is it at a level where he can come back and then walk straight into that Celtic first team? That is the big question. We wish Dane Murray all the best. I did think that he was a player that may be in and around the squad this season, but obviously not. Brendan and the new pathway manager that is wanted by Rafe Rovers. Yes, the new pathway manager, Darren O'Dea. Darren O'Dea knows a thing or two about how to progress as a Celtic player. So I think that he's probably thinking, right, we'll get him out, get him playing first team football. The ex St Mirren guy and coaching staff guy and manager will do fantastically well for him. Anyway, we wish Dane Murray all the best in a successful season, and we want to see you back at Celtic Park. And it is all about football. It is all about getting him that regular first team football. Now that he's fully fit, here's hoping that he has a good season. And because he's playing in Scotland, the Celtic manager will be able to keep tabs on him a lot easier. Now, Celtic have launched another raid. Yes, well, it's not really a raid, is it? Celtic are launching another bid to sign Norwich City striker Adam Ida. Yes. It says Mers today, this evening, that Celtic have made another bid for the 23-year-old who netted 19 games in 19 games. But he didn't. He only scored 9 at Celtic. So see when publications put out that he scored in 19 games last season, 10 of them were for Norwich as a sub. The other 9 were Celtic as a sub. Now, if Celtic do finally get the man, according to the Daily Mail, Norwich are reporting to hold out for a deal worth at least a minimum of 6 million. It's been suggested between 6 and 8 million. Celtic went in with a low ball offer around about 3.4 million. They then went in with a second offer of 4 million. It is believed that Celtic are now going in with something more that will get them perhaps letting go Adam Ida. Adam Ida really needs to be. If Celtic are really wanting Adam Ida, why didn't they just go in with the 6 million right at the start of the summer? Rather than piss about. And the thing that annoys me and many, 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 many Celtic fans is the fact that Brendan Rodgers said he wants the players in early. So all the changes that they're going to make during pre-season. Brendan Rodgers has said on many, many occasions that you get most of your tactical training done in pre-season. Once you're back into game time and you're playing Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday, Wednesday, as our games are on a Sunday, it's hard to get any tactical training into the players. So Brendan Rodgers said it's a fantastic time, and Callum McGregor said it. He said there's a few tweaks that we have made this pre-season that will help us throughout the season when teams are lying in a low block. There's tactical changes that we are implementing this pre-season that will help us in games when teams go on a low block. When teams go on a counter-attacking, there's things like that. Brendan Rodgers spoke about the urgency to have players in pre-season so that they're up to date with the system that Celtic are playing. That's why Paulo Bernardo didn't get on the pitch at the weekend. Paulo Bernardo is match fit. Celtic put out some bullshit statement saying that Paulo Bernardo was not match fit. Paulo Bernardo went through a full pre-season with Benfica. Right, he went through a full pre-season with Benfica. He was match fit. The problem being is the new changes to the tactical formations during games that Brendan Rodgers implements during games. Paulo Bernardo didn't know a thing about them. And that's why Paulo Bernardo didn't get on. Also, the fact that Celtic want to milk the whole signing of Paulo Bernardo for about a week, which they have done, because they know that there's no other incomings coming very shortly. It's going to be about another week before Adam Ida deal finally gets over the line. And then we're going to have to try and get a left back. We're going to have to try and get a central defender. Oh my God, if we go into the new season again, 2 seasons in a row with a lone central defender, questions need to be asked at the highest level at Celtic. And people that go to games and this is a shout out to the other YouTubers, the other Celtic channels that do get to ask questions is why are we going to, and if this happens, this is a scenario that I'm suggesting may happen, but if we go into the season again with another loan signing at centre back, when we're trying to offload Gustav Lagerbielke, when we're trying to offload Mohamed Bosun Lawwell, who is a defender come midfielder, whilst we're trying to offload Mark Nobrovsky, three people that play in central defence, we're trying to offload them at this current moment in time. But you've just got that funny feeling that we're going to end up pulling in someone in the centre of defence on loan again. And the last time we did that, it was Nat Phillips. Fuck's sake, I think we've been patient enough of Lanky. It's no his fault. What's Lanky saying? Let me jump back up the comments. Stephen had 3 seasons. 2 of them have left this season. Lanky says Norwich never recognised Adam as a first striker before. Tam Mack says that actually. That Lanky never. Norwich never seen Adam Ida as a first choice striker until he came to Celtic. And he didn't. They didn't. They wanted 3 million for him at Christmas if we had got our finger out. But we never managed that deal. So anyway, we move on from that. Our scouting system is a shambles. If we keep looking at loans, says Kieran. Kieran, we don't actually have a head of recruitment at the moment. We got rid of Mark Lawwell. I think it was around about March or it was around about March. The end of March, we got rid of Mark Lawwell and his sidekick, who were head of recruitment. They were brought in by Ange Postecoglou, who had worked with Mark Lawwell whilst he was in Australia and Japan. They were given gardening leave. Yes, they were paid in full until the end of the season. And we still haven't had an announcement about who is our head of recruitment. Right now, our head of recruitment is Brendan Rodgers, Nicholson, and Chris Mackay, the finance guy. Hence the reason that Brendan Rodgers has said during pre-season in America, I don't know what's going on with transfers. Ask Nicholson and ask Chris Mackay, the finance director. Brendan Rodgers is telling you what's going on at Celtic without actually coming out and saying in public, fucking don't ask me, ask these pricks. I would, if it was for me, if it was Brendan Rodgers say we had a situation at Celtic where our owner, our billionaire owner, and we do have a truly billionaire owner, say we had a situation at Celtic where our billionaire owner come in and said, right, Brendan, whoever you want, go and get. Start at the summer transfer window, whoever you want, go and get. No fucking about. I think the problem being at Celtic is Nicholson and the finance director, Chris Mackay, are trying to increase the share value of Celtic. They're trying to increase the bank balance. They're trying to increase the tax burden on Celtic. And I think when you see them doing that from a business perspective, because they see it, see when they want to, if they ever want to leave Celtic, right? Chris Mackay, the finance officer, right? I worked with a very, very well-known Glaswegian that was on Dragon's Den. I was one of his sales and marketing guys for around about 4 months. And I took one of his businesses from 1.1 million profit a year to 1.6 million profit a year in 4 months. And then I walked for the job. If you want to take those kind of numbers and where you could go, look, I did this in a business, in a company, and I made it more profitable, and we grew the turnover, and this is what we did to grow the turnover. They're then walking on to an even better, highly paid job. Although I went on to start my own business, it doesn't matter. But these guys, they know that they have an objective. And if that's to make Celtic look fantastically good on paper so that they can then walk out with their heads held high and walk onto a 300 grand a year job, then so be it. They're using Celtic for their own needs. And their own needs is their own financial gain. Never mind the board members and the directors and everybody else. It's that these guys are just using Celtic for one objective. Anyway, let's get back to the Celtic news. The fact that Adam Ida and Norwich Will it be the fact that is understood that the Irishman, his preference is return to Celtic? He told Norwich, Adam Eder told Norwich during pre-season that he wanted to return to Celtic. He did not fly to Norwich training camp. You think that that would have speeded things up a bit, but no, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. But Celtic have launched a fresh bid for Adam Eder, and that's all over the media this evening. Celtic that one. Let me just get an update on this. Why does nobody have? There's a lot of information out there, but it's just reoccurring information about the Adam Eder situation. Anyway, Dane Murray is leaving Celtic. Who else will be leaving Celtic? I think that there's going to be quite a few of the younger guys who did play pre-season, play pre-season that will be out on their ears, as they say, out in their ears. Anyway, let's jump into the comment section. And how many subscribers are we on actually? Oh, we've lost a few subscribers tonight. It always happens. It always happens. Don't worry about it. We're on 17,913 subscribers. That's not too shabby, considering I don't do any other social media. When you look at the other platforms out there, some of the other YouTube channels who are heavily, heavily involved in Twitter, can't be arsed with that shit. It doesn't pay. But we are on 17,913 subscribers. The aim is to get to 18,000 subscribers before the end of the transfer window and before Adam Eder becomes a Celtic player. Or maybe it'll be announced. The evening that it's announced that Adam Eder is the Celtic player, we will get the subscribers up to 18,000. That would be a big, fantastic shout. And I'd thank Adam Eder personally for that one. Joseph says, "Hello, Baz. Your recruitment is poor. Why did Celtic not see Adam first choice before Norwich saw him?" Norwich, before he came to Celtic, Joseph, before Adam came to Celtic, Norwich put him on a 5-year contract, but they never seen him as a first choice. They seen him as one for the future. A lot of Norwich fans didn't think he was actually going to make it at Norwich at all. At all. Norwich would have taken, if we had signed an option to buy agreement with Norwich in December / January this year, we would have got Adam Eder for around about £3 million. And that's what they valued him at the time. Now, in January, I did say this guy will score 10 goals for Celtic this season. And everybody thought I was crazy. Everybody was on let's get in Pierre Van Hooydonk's son. And I was like, no, don't get in Pierre Van Hooydonk's son, because young Van Hooydonk is the exact same as his dad. He's not getting on with the manager. He's been left out the team. He's been put out on loan. He's been disruptive as a player. And where are the headlines about Van Hooijdonk now? They're nowhere. The fact that Adam Eder had played as a sub for Norwich and had scored 10 goals with very limited game time at Norwich, I thought with the service he gets at Celtic, he could score 10 goals in the second half of the season. He scored 9 goals. He scored 9 goals at Celtic. And he gives Celtic that different option, and which we needed in the cup final, and we needed in other games. We needed at Kilmarnock. So is Adam Eder really worth 6 million? If we're going to have to pay between 6 and 7 million, then so be it. Get the money paid and get the player in, is what I said. You'll be at 80,000 before Adam Eder signs, says Kieran. 80,000. I don't think any Celtic channel, to be fair, just Celtic focus channel will ever get to 80,000. I know that there's Ryan's at around about 43,000, but I cannot see a Celtic channel getting to 80,000. Sorry, you would have to diversify and talk about a lot of other stuff to get to the big one, the 100,000, and then you get a plaque from YouTube. Anyway, Lanky says last season I said that Matt would contribute goals and assists, and it would get around 30. Lanky, you did that. Paddy McGonaghy's goats. That's a cracking YouTube name. Paul Baird for the beautiful County Derry. Anyway, how long we've been on? I am now going out with a meal with the family. DD knows what is going on. He wanted to break the wage structure. Signing fees would have been done so by now. I think that Dermot Desmond leaves the board to do their jobs. He, as majority shareholder, can only have a say in certain things. And those certain things are like, well, you're fucking making an asset. I will phone this guy and I will find out what he wants. And then I'll decide if we're going to go for him or not. Hence the reason that he done it with Martin O'Neill. Hence the reason he done it with Brendan Rodgers. Hence the reason that he then did it with Ange Postecoglou. That's the only times that Dermot Desmond has stepped in and put his authoritative view on Celtic. Only 3 times in the last 20 years. And I think that it's more than apparent that he just leaves the people that are paid to do the job, who are paid well to do the job, he leaves them to get on with it. And as any businessman does, I mean, he's not going to be he's not a Gary Vaynerchuk that's going to be in on the ground and fucking in all these businesses on a day-to-day business asking people what's going on. Do you know, he is very much, and this is how you become a billionaire. You don't become a billionaire by having your feet in the trenches day in, day out. Do you know, he's certainly not fucking doing YouTube to become a billionaire. Anyway, let's jump into the comments before we end off. Desmond Donnelly just deleted his comment. Richard said, pay the money. We already know the weight of Celtic shirt did not stop him from scoring goals under pressure, says Richard. Richard, you are getting the final comment of the evening. There's been 1,307 views in 26 minutes. I am cutting it short tonight, and I know I was about 2 minutes late, but you can never... There's 2 things in life that you should never rush. And that is when the missus is at the shops and when you're drinking a pint of Guinness. Just remember that. And Richard Smith gets the final say of the evening. Pay the money. We already know the weight of the Celtic shirt did not stop him from scoring goals under pressure. Talking about the big man himself, Adam Ida. Big massive goals for Celtic, worth 10 million for that run of games he scored, says John Paul Murray. I think that we all want to get the Adam Ida deal done and dusted. But the question will be, will Brendan Rodgers change his formation if we have 2 fantastic strikers? Martin O'Neill had 3 fantastic strikers to choose from. Henrik Larsson, Chris Sutton and John Hartson. He played 2 up front. Will Brendan Rodgers change to play up 2 up front? That is the question that I'll leave you with this evening. There's actually 406 viewers on tonight. I feel that I shouldn't cut it early. Thinking that Ada's worth 6 million. A team is Brighton. If Matt goes to Sussex, they say, yeah. Let's just see. Anyway, on that note, enjoy your evening and have a fantastic one wherever you are. To all the Celtic fans all around the world, it's time to take the missus and one of the kids